Review, I'm going to go over this Clarion Marine model CMS2, which replaces the last year's 2013 model CMS1, which was a mechanismless source unit. It was a digital only type of receiver. It did not have a CD playback. It had this very small main head unit, which was the actual receiver or the controller, to put it more accurately. This was your main fascia. This was your display piece. This is what you seen and controlled and what you had your hands on. Very similar for this year, for 2014 with the CMS2. Little bit cosmetic differences I can see. The main size unchanged. The color is a little bit different. I think that they would have been a little bit better off going with a white and a black or an all white fascia myself, but you know, hey, it is what it is. These two pieces do remove to show the two hidden screws, which will allow you to mount this unit. There is this rubberized gasket here, so that way when it is mounted and fixed on there, it'll sit snug and keep this unit watertight, which is what it should be first and foremost, especially in a marine application, of course. This unit here is the extension cable, so that way this will go between the source commander head unit here and the Hideaway brain, which is this unit right here. With this unit here, what this is basically the radio minus the LCD. So think of it in terms of this here is like a detachable face of a stereo. If you want to put it into layman's terms, like a detachable face stereo system, this here would be the face and the controls. This here would be basically the rest of the unit. And when I say the rest of the unit, I'll go through it piece by piece so that way you can know exactly what this piece is all about. So first off, this here would be the other half of this Molex connector, which is a very nice heavy connector, which you would expect from Clarion. Clarion always makes good stuff. And you can see in here, they actually are getting away from the copper wire for a couple of reasons, and I'm not really anti-copper just because, you know, of the cost of copper, because I know as a marine guy myself what copper, how it reacts to the salt, and it's really, really bad. So I'm guessing that they go with these types of tin wires for a good reason, I'm sure. I've always had a lot of respect for the Clarion engineering. Their products have always worked really well. I've used one myself for years, so I'll go with it. This here, you got your AM/FM antenna. Now this unit here also boasts weather built into it, so that way not only can you get your regular radio terrestrial stations, AM and FM, you could also get your weather bands right here, and your news right here, just directly from there. SiriusXM Satellite Radio connector, so that way if you wanted to add satellite radio, which is of course very important when you're out there in the ocean, all you need to do is get this little V200, which would be a tuner, and run up your antenna, and you're good. You got your subscription activated, you're in business. You got your SiriusXM. Over here, this here would mate to this extension cable, which will go to your display controller. This here harness, I'll go through it really quick with you. You have your front left and rights right here, white and gray. Your pair of rears, right and left. You got your amp turn on, your power accessory, you have a dimmer, and you have a ground. Very straightforward powering plug. Nothing really crazy going on here whatsoever. Getting back into these connectors, you have 3 sets of RCA preamp outputs. They're all stereo. You have your front, your rear, and your dedicated subwoofer preamp outputs. So if you're going to add an amplifier to the system, there's your preamp outputs. They're all 2.5 volts, by the way, which is very good. It's a respectable voltage volume. Over here you have a USB. If you're not going to utilize it, of course, you can just cap it off with this little weatherproof connector, which they were nice enough to offer to you. Same thing goes here. So if you wanted to connect a wired remote, you would plug it in right here, and that would work with the MW1, which is the LCD remote, the MW2, which is the non-LCD remote, and if they ever come out with it, the MW4, which I have never seen yet, but I'm sure that they will someday, somehow it'll come out. Over here you have a set of analog RCA AV inputs, actually A, not V, just audio inputs. And that's really it for all this connector there. Now, on top of all of that, some other features that I think are really worth noting. The wired remote commander, which is there, you have an extension cable which is about 6 feet in length, which I think is more than sufficient. This unit also boasts Bluetooth built right into it, which is a first for this type of unit. It's very unique, and I think it's very well deserved for this type of unit, because anybody who's going to want to enjoy their media is going to want to utilize either their Android or their iPhone or iPad or Android tablet, whatever it has to be. That's going to work great with this, especially since you have a Hideaway unit. So if you have someone down in the cabin, they can enjoy all the Bluetooth streaming and control it from the front and have say an optional wired remote, say downstairs in the galley or wherever they're at, and they can really have a pretty respectable audio system in the boat. And that, along with all these RCA preamp outputs, you could really have yourself a good little system. So this thing has everything that you're gonna really need, the must-haves to create a good audio system. So the weather band, very welcome. The Bluetooth, excellent, good step up from last year. It is splash proof. It is, it meets the IPX6 standards if you're, technical like me. You have a highly legible 3-line display. It's black on blue, so when this thing does illuminate, it's going to look kind of like this. I'm not going to power this one up because this one here is actually one that we're going to sell, so unfortunately I cannot do it. But this is pretty much what you could expect to see. All these buttons are all rubberized. They're very hard. They have a nice solid click, so when you use them, it's really good. It's a nice rugged feel to it. It's a really good thing. Your iPod, iPhone direct control through USB, which you can plug in here. As far as utilizing a standard type of, like a flash drive or something like that, I have no experience, and I really don't have any information from the web or an online review from anybody as of yet, so maybe you can share in the comments for the next guy. As of right now, I don't know. I don't know if many people are going to really care about it, but it's something, and I wanted to tell you about it and just be honest and get it out there. The dimensions are 6 7/8 by 2 inches by 6 3/4 for the Hideaway unit. Your controller right here comes in at 5 1/4 inches on width, 3 1/4 inches on the height, and 1 inch on your depth. So that could fit in just about any boat, anything I could imagine. That's really about all there is to that unit. I mean, this unit has a 40 by 4 built-in amplifier. It's rated at 20 watts RMS because Clarion is true to their references and their specifications. I have total faith in them. I always have. The box says 50 by 4. When you look at the specification table, it actually says 40 by 4. That's really cool. I think that's a good thing. That tells you when you're dealing with a quality product. When they actually underrate their product for consumer usage, and then when you get it, you find out that it's actually more. That's when you know you got a winner. So that's a winner. Like I said, you got the weather band. You had the new Bluetooth audio streaming in stereo, which is excellent. You have the 6-channel of RCA Preamp Outputs, which is awesome. You have a generic RCA input for any source you want, even if you wanted to use, a generic USB to 3.5 millimeter and just have a pigtail someplace in the boat and plug it in whenever you want it. Plus, on top of that, you have your Sirius ready. This thing is really nice. And, couple it with a nice little, wired remote control like the MW1, you could have a really world-class audio system with this new unit. So there you have it. There's your CMS2. I like it, and I think you will too. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you like it, give me a like, and if you didn't like it, give me a like.